What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Monday. Now let's get to it. Now let's start off with Aaron Pipers. So Aaron Pipers, who happens to be Denise Richards' estranged husband, got arrested outside of court Friday. So according to documents obtained by TMZ, Aaron was charged with 2 felony counts of injuring a spouse and 2 felony counts of deciding a witness by force or threat, with his total bail set at $200,000. So Michael Finley, Aaron's lawyer, previously told TMZ Aaron was not aware of the warrant, and Finley accuses Denise and her legal team of setting him up at Friday's proceedings. So the arrest followed a contentious court hearing where Denise and Aaron were fighting over a permanent restraining order she wanted against him. So the hearing got heated when Aaron's mother testified she witnessed Denise throw a can opener at Aaron. She also denied her son ever abused or threatened Denise, something Denise has repeatedly claimed. So Aaron swiftly posted bond Friday night. As you know, the pair is in the midst of a nasty divorce battle that kicked off when Aaron filed to end the marriage in July, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. Okay, so this is insane how things are getting even more insane between these two. I think that the court is going to have to file a restraining order in between Aaron Pipers and Denise Richards if there's really so much evidence going on that Aaron Pipers is an abuser and that Aaron Pipers really did a lot to harm poor Denise Richards. Okay, because I don't think that courthouses are just going to give, restraining orders just like that. Okay, but I believe that Denise Richards might have a lot of evidence. She might have a lot of those footprints going to show to the court that, she is the victim and that she is the one that is, the one that is suffering this whole entire time. And, if that ends up being the case, that Denise Richards ends up getting the restraining order, then you know what? Good for her. She's going to be in good hands. She's going to be safe. And I'm hoping for the best for Denise Richards after all. But the fact that Aaron is going through a situation where he is facing 2 felony counts of injuring a spouse and 2 felony counts of deciding a witness by force or threat is already coming to show how bad this man is, and it's already coming to show that he's already losing a lot in this case, and that he's already going to be serving a lot of prison time, because we're talking about 2 felony counts here of injuring a spouse and 2 felony counts of deciding a witness, which, by the way, is very, very harmful. It's very bad. And I believe that is already coming to show that this guy is already having a bunch of issues with his own emotions, that he definitely is able to be hurting a bunch of other people, especially his own spouse and especially his own loved ones. And then from there, he is also somebody to be showing that he is definitely a danger to the people that surround him, okay? Because technically, a person that is going through this is already coming to show, especially that they are already having issues with the fact that they are basically violent people. They are people that can't control themselves, okay? And I think that when it comes to these kind of people like Aaron Pipers, I'm sorry, but they're going to have to take some anger management classes, because these anger management classes, I believe, is already going to really help them out with what they need. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, so I don't know, but I believe that if the court is really going to have to grant a restraining order from Denise Richards all the way to Aaron Pipers, then I think that the court is really going to have to issue like a permanent restraining order, or I believe a restraining order that's going to last for like a lifetime. Because if this restraining order is going to last for like a few years, then I don't think that's going to work at all, because chances are this Aaron Pipers guy, he's going to go so psycho to the point that he's going to be going after poor Denise Richards, and then later on, there goes more charges, there goes more cases, and there goes, God knows, I don't know, more harm, more craziness. So that's the reason to why I'm saying is that, I'm hoping that this restraining order, if it's granted, it gets to be, granted for a lifetime at least, okay? But anyways, good luck to Denise Richards and to Aaron Pipers in this case. Now on to the next topic. So John Stamos is not keeping quiet about this whole entire Varsity Blues situation. So John Stamos is going to bat for Lori Loughlin, framing her as the true victim in the wild 2019 college admissions scandal and dumping the whole mess on her estranged hubby, Massimo Giannulli. The Full House star lashed out on Josh Peck and Ben Sofer's Good Guys podcast, where talk quickly landed on Lori's recent split from Massimo, and Stamos didn't miss a beat, saying his heart breaks for the actress now, just like it did years ago when she got dragged through the Varsity Blues fiasco, which John claims was all Massimo's doing. Okay, so Stamos branded Massimo a narcissist and claimed Lori was unfairly turned into the poster child for Hollywood elites and rich parents in general who pay handsomely to get their kids into college. Okay, so he even remembered Lori telling him she met a bunch of nice ladies in prison and joined a book club while she was there, saying it was a classic glass half full Lori, making the best out of her life behind bars. So of course, Lori didn't exactly walk away squeaky clean. She pled guilty alongside Massimo in the scandal, with prosecutors saying they forked over $500,000 to admissions fixer Rick Singer to sneak daughter Olivia Jade into USC as a bogus crew team recruit. Lori did 2 months in the slammer. Massimo served 5. This is insane. I think that Lori Loughlin could have been the victim of this whole entire case, because it sounds like it to me that Massimo Giannulli is that narcissistic jackass of a husband that is all like, okay, well, if I'm going to get in trouble for doing this whole entire bribery, then you're going to get in trouble with me. All right, because you are my wife. And I believe that that is definitely unfair because of the fact that, hey, the one that does the dirty work should end up behind bars, not the one that is the victim, not the one that is the innocent one. All right, but unfortunately, Lori Loughlin was dumb enough into falling for this whole entire situation, and she was all like, okay, fine, I'm gonna get in trouble with you because you're my husband and I love you and blah blah blah. And I believe that from there, Lori Loughlin might have been like, oh, well, maybe we're not going to get in trouble after all because Rick Singer has this whole entire bribery thing, kept in the secrets, kept in the hush-hush, and so forth. So it's not going to be a big deal maybe. And you know what? Unfortunately, they got in trouble because of the fact that somebody ended up reporting this dude, Rick Singer, of doing all of this dirty work. That then Massimo got in trouble, Lori Loughlin got in trouble, and many of the other parents ended up getting in trouble. And you know what? I think that this guy, Massimo Giannulli, was just so darn desperate in getting Olivia Jade into college because of the fact that $500,000 really is not $500. It's really not 500 cents. No, it's $500,000 that this man put into Rick Singer in order to get Olivia Jade into that college. That is just too much money. That is $500,000 right there. And usually it doesn't take that much money in order to be getting somebody into college anyway. All right, usually it's like tens of thousands of dollars, and by the way, legally, okay, and that's without financial aid. All right, but anywho, I believe that it's just so darn insane though how Lori Loughlin at the same time yes, might have been desperate as well because she got into an agreement with this guy in order to pay the $500,000. But yet again, Lori Loughlin might have thought about her own life. She should have thought about her own, image. She should have thought about her own safetyness before putting herself in a very dirty situation where she got into an agreement with Massimo Giannulli into paying $500,000 to Rick Singer. And that is if what John Stamos is saying is true, that Lori Loughlin is actually the whole entire victim of the whole entire case that got dragged into the whole entire situation. Okay, so this is definitely something that is really sad for the poor woman because Lori Loughlin had a really clean image for so many years. Let's remember that she was on Full House. Let's remember that she did several movies for the Hallmark Channel and so forth. And she was like this really good role model to so many people, but unfortunately all of that got thrown down to the freaking toilet because of what she just did, and she lost several jobs for a really good time because of what she did. I mean, now she is going off doing work again, thank God, but unfortunately people are not seeing her the same way anymore. A lot of people are seeing her as this fraud now. So it's very insane, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, that was way back in 2019, and I'm hoping that Lori Loughlin got to learn from all of this, and I'm hoping that Massimo Giannulli got to learn from all of this. And who knows, maybe this whole entire divorce, maybe could be due because of the fact that this whole entire scandal happened back in 2019. Lori might have not been happy about getting dragged, that then Lori might have been like, okay, well, you know what, I'm divorcing you. I don't know, that is just what I think. Maybe it could be other things as to why this whole entire divorce is happening. But anyways, on to the next topic. So Cindy Crawford just filed a restraining order against a very scary stalker. Well, apparently this stalker has been repeatedly hanging outside her LA house, and even once showing up at her daughter's theater performance in Massachusetts asking her to take part in a seance. And Cindy filed legal documents in LA obtained by TMZ asking the court to issue a temporary restraining order prohibiting a 35-year-old man named Daniel Lee Schoenver from coming anywhere near Cindy or her family. So in the docs that Cindy outlines a series of highly suspicious alleged activities by Schoenver, including showing up at Kaya Gerber's performance at a theater festival in Williamstown, Massachusetts on July 29, and months later sleeping outside the pedestrian gate next to the driveway at her house. So Cindy claims the alleged stalker was captured on security footage dressed in all black with an open shirt and sunglasses. So according to Cindy, he rang the doorbell and asked if Kaya lived there, and she told him no. When Kaya found out it was the same dude from Williamstown, she served him with an emergency protective order, but he continued to make comments on her Instagram that were threatening, sexually graphic, and extremely concerning. So, according to the docs, he's threatened the lives of Cindy and her husband, Randy Gerber. Okay, so this is really insane, man. I think that this woman needs to file a really good restraining order, and by a really good restraining order, I mean a permanent restraining order, because this is very scary that this stalker has been going after this poor woman and her family. And also, it's really scary how this stalker seems to be very obsessive because of the fact that he's going off, going after Cindy. And this stalker is, commenting these weird things on Kaya Gerber's Instagram account and so forth. Because honestly, that is just trying to show, and that is definitely trying to show, that this man wants to maybe kidnap Sydney, and wants to kidnap Kaya Gerber, and wants to kidnap Cindy's husband, and so forth. And, it's really coming to show that this man really is just, just thinking about them 24/7, So that is definitely something to be alarmed about. I also believe that if I were Cindy, I would also hire security guards, lots of them, in case if this stupid person ends up showing up at their house, because the security guards will definitely make sure that this person is not showing up anymore. I mean, that's just me, but I also feel like, it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, you should also keep your own Instagram private, and you should also keep your own life private, because maybe if that were the case, maybe this whole entire stalkish thing wouldn't happen in the first place, because, unfortunately, with, huge A-list celebrities like Cindy Crawford and so forth, they unfortunately put their lives out there on social media, and then when they put their lives out there on social media, then the stalker, can easily, get over obsessive with Cindy and with all of these other celebrities, and then, we'll find a way to track the celebrities down and so forth. It's very scary, or just not have a social media, period. That's another situation. That's another solution. So I don't know, but this is just something that, unfortunately many other celebrities go through, and it's definitely something that unfortunately will never stop. Okay, but something tells me that this man really needs to go into a freaking psychiatric hold, and maybe some jail time too, but I believe a psychiatric hold, because this is just something where maybe this guy is just, wanting to really get into deepness with Cindy Crawford and with her family and God knows what else. So, I don't know, girl, but be careful. Be careful. The stalkers are just uncontrollable. All right, now on to the next topic. So Brandy and Monica had a little snag this past Saturday in the middle of their concert. Well, apparently, Brandy abruptly walked off stage mid-performance, leaving Monica to close the show by herself. So the R&B legends were performing at Chicago's United Center when Brandy appeared frustrated by sound issues and stopped mid-song. So give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta get she told the crowd before walking backstage. But Brandy never returned, and after several minutes of confusion, Monica carried on alone and wrapped the night without performing their 1998 duet, The Boy Is Mine. So fans flooded social media with clips and questions, wondering why the show ended early. Saturday's hiccup comes just months after the pair announced a reunion tour, marking more than 2 decades since their hit single made music history and years after their highly publicized feud. So no official word yet from either artist on what caused Brandy's early exit. Alright, so this is insane. I think that Brandy was really frustrated, in my opinion, because I believe that Brandy is that type of artist that really wants to make sure that everything is perfect, especially on stage. Okay. But it really looked bad though that Brandy got to walk off of the stage in the middle of the show, because a lot of us were wanting to see Brandy and Monica do their show together to the very end, and especially perform the song The Boy Is Mine together, because let's remember that the song is performed by the both of them and was made by the both of them. Okay? I think, in my opinion, that now this is leading to a lot of speculation that Brandy and Monica are beefing, and that Brandy and Monica are enemies again, and so forth. And that's not a really good image for both Brandy and Monica, because they are both R&B queens. They are both amazing singers, and let's also remember that they were beefing for like a good, I don't know how long. So I basically personally believe here that this whole entire walking off stage thing should have never happened in the first place. And I think that what Brandy should have done in order to manage the whole entire situation was just talk to somebody backstage and make sure that everything is settled well with the whole entire sound issues and technical issue situation, so that way Brandy would have gone upstage and performed with Monica after all, and they would have done a really good show to the very end. But unfortunately, Brandy was just not really having it on Saturday, and she was like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm gonna go off stage. I'm gonna just leave, and period. And that's just definitely not a really good image. So this is definitely something to even criticize about, in my opinion. And I think that if I were Brandy, I would definitely, give a really good explanation and an apology, especially to all of the fans out there that really got to witness all of that on Saturday. But anywho, I'm hoping that this does not get to be repeating at all. And I believe that, it's really weird and it's very awkward at the same time, just having to see that Monica was the one performing The Boy Is Mine all by herself on Saturday after all. And yeah, so anyways, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely show of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.